The Golden Joystick Awards went down this past Friday night with one big winner nearly sweeping the night. Will this be a predictor for the Game Awards coming up in December?
And it's finally happened. Rockstar announced a new Grand Theft Auto. It's not far off, and we can expect a trailer real soon. We're going to talk about all this and so much more right now on Gaming News Weekly. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming News Weekly, the best weekly video game news show out there. Every single Monday, we're bringing you all the biggest things that happen in the video game industry. We're on Fruit Lab, YouTube, podcast services, everywhere. My name is E-Rock the Red, joined every week by this fancy gentleman right here. Full clip. What's the haps, my dude?
Thank you. I take pride in my fanciness. The gray
You're a
shirt,
fancy boy.
The unkempt beard.
Yeah, you should see him from the waist down, folks.
Not right now. There's,
Fully nude.
Gosh, yeah. As I was telling you before the show, I'm like on edge. I'm hyped up and over caffeinated. It's a problem.
Nice.
I hope we're gonna get through this all right.
Yeah, this is the one where you're gonna take the reins and let's just see what happens. Let's see what an over caffeinated full clip looks like. Yeah, I'm excited. How you been? You been all right?
Doing all right. And I don't know what it is. I've just been in this little funk where I haven't been playing a lot of games. So second week in a row, I've just not really touched anything new. I maybe played 2 hours of Car Mechanic Simulator this week, and that's it. And maybe it's because I've got these games piling up that I'm supposed to review. I'm sitting on 3 of them. Just need to find an evening where I've got the time to do it.
Yeah, it's tough when you lack the motivation and then it becomes like something like you have to do. It's hard. What have you been doing instead? Just like
staying busy.
Nothing?
I've
Sleeping.
Broke out the sewing machine this past week and made some
pants,
pot handle covers like for cast iron pans and stuff like that.
Nice.
Out of fabric and this Insole Bright material.
Yeah, I know, like, you're always doing something. You have, like, 47 hobbies, and you're always, busy doing one of them.
I made some Super Mario once out of, like, Super Mario patterned cloth from Walmart, so
sweet.
It is gaming-related, at least.
There you go. We'll take it. What have I been doing? I have not been sewing. I've been playing a lot of one particular game. It's a game called Hard Space Shipbreaker. You ever hear of this game?
I think from you last week.
Okay, so I'm like super addicted to it, and that's the only thing I've been playing. And yeah, I'm obsessed. It's like you just break down. You work in like this space salvage yard, so you're floating through space, and you have to like disassemble these ships to try to, you take them. One thing goes in the furnace, another thing goes in a processor, another thing they're saving. So you have to like make sure that you're saving all the bits that you need, and you get paid for each thing. So you got to like take good care into taking out like some of the more expensive things, like the computers and stuff like that, because you can't just toss it all in like the furnace. So I'm like really getting the hang of the controls because you're just floating. I mean, you could go in any direction. It's like you could spin, you could turn, like you're just floating free. And at first I was like, I'm all over the place, but now I'm finally getting like I could work comfortably in 0 G's and just cut apart ships and toss them in there. It's cathartic. It's got a great story about like working for this corporation. Like you start indebted to the corporation with by $2 billion almost, and then you have to like work to pay your debt. It's pretty crazy. And then like you constantly die, but they just clone a new one of you like every time. And that costs you money too. Like, so like, okay, you have to pay for your clone, of course. And then it's got like this underlying, like where you could talk to other people that are working there and they're all like anti-corporation, pro-union and stuff like that. And it's a great game. I highly recommend it. And it's playing fantastic. I'm playing it on the Steam Deck and it's playing great on there. So
kind of sounds like a simulator game.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it reminds me a lot of like the games I always talk about, like House Flipper and stuff like that, where it's just simple. You're just sitting out there, you're just going at your own pace, and so you do have to like make sure you have enough oxygen and fuel for your thrusters and stuff like that. So you go back and buy those. But yeah, it's the gameplay hook of it where it just keeps me going. Like I'm just going nonstop. You finish one ship, you get another ship that has like more hazardous parts. Like there's fuel tanks and stuff like that. You got to try to get out. And yeah, it's great. I highly recommend it.
Was that a purchase or a humble bundle sort of thing?
That was in the latest humble choice.
Nice.
So I was like, yeah, I'll try it. Dude, I have so many of those games, like those humble bundles and humble choice, where like I have just tons of like codes that I haven't even like redeemed or anything. They're just sitting there. And I don't know what it was about this one that made me go check it out. I think it was just kind of like, I'm into this style of like, it's kind of a cozy game, but you're in space, so it's a little less cozy. But yeah, dude, it's a blast. I'm gonna start giving away like keys on this show or something. I have so many that are like unclaimed that I don't know. I'm never gonna find time to play them. So maybe we'll figure something out to do a giveaway or something.
Yeah, just flash it on the screen real quick.
Exactly. Yeah, real fast. Let me tell you one other thing that I've been up to, and it was great. I went on another podcast, a show called Smashing Game Time. They talk about video games. They do news similar to us and stuff like that. They're out on Mondays. You can check them out on YouTube, podcast services everywhere. But it was a blast, dude. It was nice. I didn't have to lead the conversation at all. It was like I just sat back, got drunk, and then like talked about video games and stuff like that. Yeah, and it was kind of like, they talk about a lot of the same stuff that we're going to talk about here. So it was like, I get to see what the take is, the consensus. But yeah, go check it out. They do a weekly show. They're on TikTok, Instagram, Smashing Game Time. This was episode 99. You could listen to me talk about, I was infuriated by this. We're not going to talk about it this week, but have you seen this, like, this family suing all like the biggest names in gaming because their kid is addicted to video games?
Yeah,
they talk about that. You could see me get infuriated and like curse out the family on there. So yeah.
Right, in other words, bad parenting from the sound of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, letting their kids spend, I think they said like $350 a month on video games. He's 13, doesn't have a job. And he sits in front of he's homeschooled and sits in front of the video games for 13 hours a day.
Right. Now, Smashing Game Time, are they British?
They are not. They just like to smash shit, I think. I don't know.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, go check them out. It was a blast. Highly recommend checking out their show. But if you're looking for news, you come here first and then go there second. That's the order of things. All right. Should we get into the things?
Let's get into it.
All right. These are our new releases from last week. All right, first up, the big one, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 came out November 7th on everything. It's everywhere. It's got 25 characters you can play, new fighters, new animations, new supers. There's like a campaign mode that really intrigues me. It's like a roguelike where you got to go through and, you can earn things and then go back and buy power-ups to get further in the game. I heard it's a bit of a slog to get through it, but that's roguelikes. Once you start getting super powered up, then you get through. But you unlock more characters that way and mini games and all sorts of stuff. The one thing I did hear about, like every review, consensus across the board, this is a good game, and no more, no less. And that's fine with these style of games, these Smash kind of clones, as long as you're happy playing it, you're having fun, you got characters you like. What more could you ask for? Yeah,
you even got Grandma from Hey Arnold in there.
Exactly. I did hear, so that it's at a 75 on Metacritic right now, but that is only like the PC score. I heard it runs like crap on the Nintendo Switch. So Switch fans, players, do some research before jumping in there.
Starting to see a bit of a pattern here.
Yeah, it might be time for a new, Nintendo Switch 2. I don't know. Yeah. But, what do you think? I know you're a fan of the, Nick characters. You won't shut up about Ren and Stimpy.
Right. I like it. I think it would be cool if I caught it on sale to try this out, but I'm waiting for more like metaverses to come back. I think it's supposed to have a full release next year.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So yeah, this one it's average. Next up, Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, came out on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, X, and S. This is one of the Yakuza series, now Like a Dragon series. This guy, he fakes his death. He is forced to go into hiding, but then someone comes looking at him, and he's got to come out of hiding to protect the people that he loves. It looks pretty cool. There's like, your usual weird mini games in there. You got karaoke. This one is the thing that I like about this one. It's got like two fighting styles. There's the Yakuza style, which is like strength and like power, and then there's this agent style where it's all speed based, and you have like these gadgets to like do really cool fighting things. It looks good, and this one, it's right in that number. Like I think it's like a 15 to 20 hour game where it's like actually doable to play it from start to finish.
Yeah,
it's not that many of those that come out anymore.
That game style is pretty intriguing because some games are like all serious, all action all the time, beat 'em up slosh from beginning to end. But it's nice to have those brief moments in between where you just get to completely take the game non-seriously, do something fun.
Yeah, I like that. That it definitely changes things up. And that the next one, what we talked about, it's got like that Animal Crossing Island or whatever. That one, that's coming out in the future. But they always do fun stuff in these Like a Dragon Yakuza games. And then lastly, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 came out November 10th on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, X, and S. We've talked about it a lot, but we'll just get it. It's got your multiplayer map, 16 multiplayer maps from the previous title that are remastered. They're all Modern Warfare 2 maps. And then it's got the campaign, 3-hour campaign that's not great. One thing that sounds cool is this aftermarket parts thing where you could unlock them as you do things within the game, and it kind of changes the weapon and how it works. So that's something new, changing things up. But it also has the zombies mode, which everybody likes the zombies mode, Were you ever a fan of the zombies? You were always just multiplayer guy.
Well, back in the day, Black Ops 1 and 2, those zombies were awesome.
That was it. That was the best of the zombies right there. So, yeah. This one, so where do we start here? Do we talk about the reviews that it's getting?
Are you going to buy this one?
No.
But you did play the beta?
I did. And I enjoyed parts of the multiplayer beta. I liked going back to those maps. But I need to vote with my wallet and say it is not acceptable to release something like this in this state as a $70 game.
Yeah. And I missed the beta. I don't plan to buy the game. I'm thinking, they said no Call of Duty, no Activision games or whatever on Game Pass this year, but I'm wondering how quickly that's going to change in February or March.
Yeah, I don't know. This would be perfect for that. We'll see. I'm very interested to see the sales of this one. The sales are always bonkers, no matter what.
Usually a record setter.
Yeah. They could release the biggest pile of shit and people are still going to buy it. And that seems to be what they're doing here. So right now, well, first of all, I saw they already had to remove some of the maps because the spawn, there were spawning issues with it. Yeah. So that was an issue up front. And then there was an article on Forbes that I read today that was very interesting. So first of all, it talks about how this was made in 16 months. This game, they thought they were just making a add-on, and then they're like, okay, I'm sure it was probably like Bobby Kotick. It's like, listen, we need a full $70 game. Let's do it. So they had to then create this, the rest of it. And right now it's at a 54 on Metacritic overall. And, I thought it was so it's by far the lowest rated of the Call of Duty games ever. Like Modern Warfare 2 had a 70. And that was the lowest, the previous one. And I thought this was a crazy stat. So out of 199 PlayStation 5 games reviewed this year, this one is the 195th best game. It's only the only ones underneath it are Quantum Error, Gollum, and the King Kong game or whatever. And then Redfall and Forspoken, which we all love to shit on, are ranked above them in the Metacritic scores. But like you said, so many people are still going to buy this game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's the thing. And do you truly deserve it? Deserves to be down there, or is this the result of review bombing and things like that?
So this is based on critic scores, right? It's at a 1.4 out of 10 user score. We're not even going to talk about that. So this is only critics. I know, there's a lot of people that are saying like, F them, we're not going to get it. They're going to get it. So many people, like if this game went on sale tomorrow and it was $30, shit, I might get it,
get it too. Yeah.
I had fun in the multiplayer, but like the fact that like, why not, a 260 gigabyte file that you need for this, you have to like download the hub. Like there's so many strikes against this game in my book. You have to, like, people that don't even own this game are forced to like update their thing so that like they can use the Call of Duty hub. Why not have the hub and just give us some like new maps every month or so, Make it like a more of a I know this is, taboo, no one wants to hear it, more of a games as service, live service type game, instead of releasing a $70 game every year. But they know people are going to buy it, so they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm very interested to see what the sales are like. It's going to be fun. We're going to have an entire episode just talking about that. All right. That's it for our new releases. It's time to get into our news of the week. Full clip. It's finally happening. Rockstar announced we're getting a trailer very soon for Grand Theft Auto 6. Presumably Grand Theft Auto 6. They didn't release a title, but why stray from the format that's been going so far?
Yeah.
So they released a statement. I'm going to read it real fast. Next month marks the 25th anniversary of Rockstar Games. Thanks to the incredible support of our players worldwide, we have had the opportunity to create games we are truly passionate about. Without you, none of this would be possible. We are so grateful to you all for sharing this journey with us. In 1998, Rockstar Games was founded on the idea that video games could come to be as essential to culture as any other form of entertainment, and we hope that we have created games you love in our efforts to be part of that evolution. We are very excited to let you know that in early December, we will release the first trailer for the next Grand Theft Auto. We look forward to many more years of sharing these experiences with all of you. So, what do you think?
I really don't know what to think until we see that trailer.
Yep. So first thing, Game Awards, right? It's got to be Game Awards.
It would make a lot of sense. Game Awards is on the 7th, I think.
Yeah, something like that. It's like the first week in December. So yeah, that makes absolute sense. Now, what do you think? So this is something we talked about at length on that podcast. And one of the concerns that I have is expectations. Now, we've gone so far with Grand Theft Auto 5 and GTA Online, and it's built this giant thing. Like, what are the expectations going to be for GTA 6?
I suppose everybody thinks it's going to be more of the same, but better somehow. I mean, by the time, it's not just GTA 5 that came out 10 years ago, it's also the enhanced edition that everybody plays today, which is much better than that original version. So, we've had iterative changes the entire way, especially if you're like a GTA Online player. So I'm really not sure when this next game drops, you're not going to have the flying bikes and rocket cars that a lot of kids today who play this game are accustomed to.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's
I'm not
a good
sure.
point. Yeah.
I'm really not sure what that initial take is going to be on this game. But I think a lot of people, I mean, if they do it like they did GTA 5, where you're sort of forced to play story mode for a little while and then online drops, people might be a little bit happier with the story mode. But I just don't know what the general consensus is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Even then, like, I think it's got to have, it can't just be more Grand Theft Auto. I think it does have to do something to stand out from the rest, you know? And also, like, are we still comfortable with the thematic ideas that the Grand Theft Auto games
Right.
have put out? You know, as a society, a lot of that has changed, like murdering prostitutes and, you know, and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. And there's been some talk specifically about that kind of stuff, even for GTA 5 with the Hauser brothers, and I feel like they pulled back quite a bit on Red Dead Redemption 2 even. So yeah, there's going to be a balance in there, and I think with the way today's culture is, there's going to be 55 YouTube channels that crawl out of the woodworks to make videos about how much they hate every little change that's been made or every little punch that's been pulled. But I don't know. I do hope that it has that feeling of Grand Theft Auto where it is like a little bit on the it's pushing that
it's
boundary,
got to
it's
be.
pushing
It
that
has
edge.
to be. Yes.
But there's always a big difference between when you're like punching down and things like that, and when you're attacking, let's say, people for things they can't change and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, there's a difference between doing that and just having like a little bit of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think that's very well said. It's gotta be fun. It's gotta push the boundaries. It needs to push the boundaries even graphically or with and like I know they were talking recently about how AI has been helping them to create like um NPCs and stuff like that, and they expect like the future of AI to like say you could go talk to an NPC and it's going to say something different every time based on like, you know, just his algorithm. And I was like, that's really cool. I'm excited that they know that they need to make it big, you know, do something that's going to make it stand out, especially after, you know, waiting this long. But yeah, I'm interested to see what the gameplay is going to be like, what the story is, what it's going to look like. So hopefully at the Game Awards we will get that. Game Awards, the nominations start. I think like the day this comes out, you'll be able to see the nominations for the Game Awards. So we'll be talking about that next week, I'm sure.
Yeah, high hopes for this one.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be great, right? Gonna be
Let's hope.
great. Let's hope. All right, next up, speaking of Game Awards, the Golden Joystick Awards took place a few days ago. Let's run through the winners. I'm gonna go right down the list, and then we can chat about it after. Best Storytelling, Baldur's Gate 3. Still Playing Award, No Man's Sky. Best Visual Design, Baldur's Gate 3. Studio of the Year, Larian Studios. Best Game Expansion, Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty. Best Indie Game, Sea of Stars. Best VR Game, Horizon Call of the Mountain. Best Multiplayer Game, Mortal Kombat 1. Best Audio, Final Fantasy 16. Best Game Trailer, Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty. Best Streaming Game, Valorant. Best Game Community, Baldur's Gate 3. Best Gaming Hardware, PSVR 2. Breakthrough Award, Cocoon. Critics' Choice Award, Alan Wake 2. Best Lead Performer, Ben Starr for Final Fantasy 16. Best Supporting Performer, Neil Newborn for Baldur's Gate 3. Nintendo's Game of the Year, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. PC Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate 3. Xbox Game of the Year, Starfield. PlayStation Game of the Year, Resident Evil 4. The Most Wanted game, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And the Ugati, Baldur's Gate 3. I'm assuming that's the Ultimate Game of the Year. I don't know what the U stands for. What are your thoughts?
Well deserved on Baldur's Gate and Larian Studios.
Right? Yeah, we talked about it. This was our front runner. I expected to do well throughout everything. It changed the way people play games. It changed what we expect from studios. It's a literal game changer. So
Yeah.
I'm very happy to see it proving itself and everybody taking it seriously. Some surprising ones though. Mortal Kombat 1 for multiplayer game, which
Right.
was a surprise. And then the PlayStation Game of the Year was Resident Evil 4, which is not even like a PlayStation exclusive. Which I don't know how that works.
And that
So
over Spider-Man 2. Maybe this is just there wasn't enough time.
yeah, yeah, it's very very strange. But and then even Xbox Game of the Year, Starfield, which I mean, you know, there was a limited amount there too. But you know, I could have. No, Starfield's a good game. It's a fine game.
All I hear is good but not great on Starfield.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd think, your Game of the Year is going to be in great category.
Right. Exactly. So, it's just a taste. We're getting into award season. Like I said, we'll be talking more about the, the game awards next week with their nominations. All right, in a PlayStation earnings call, Sony's CFO Hiroki Totoki stated that of its 12 live service games that they had planned, that we knew were on the horizon, we'll only release 6 of them by the end of fiscal year 2025. So that's March of 2026. So it's interesting that they're taking this direction. I'm not sure, what this means for Sony going forward, for games as a service going forward, but they were all in. They bought Bungie to lead the live service games division. And we talked about Bungie last week doing some layoffs. Destiny 2 not doing as well as they hoped. And now, of these 12 games, which only I think a few of them we know of, Last of Us multiplayer. There was that one where it's like where you have to go. It's like we have to go rob people. I don't remember. Marathon.
Hyenas, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't Hyenas. It was like Hyenas, but it was a different game. Firepoint. I don't remember what it was called. But anyways, so I don't know what this means going forward. Real quick, Hiroki said, we are reviewing this. We are trying as much as possible to ensure these games are enjoyed and liked by gamers for a long time. Of the 12 titles, 6 titles will be released by year 2025. And that's our current plans. As for the remaining 6 titles, we are still working on that. They said that's the total number of live service and multiplayer titles, and mid to long term, we want to push this kind of service. And that's the unchanged policy of the company. It's not like we stick to certain titles, but game quality should be the most important thing. Okay, so they're saying that if the game quality needs to be there before they're putting out a game, which makes sense, but they've invested billions of dollars into the live service games as a service, with a hope for a return of investment. But we all know that as we watch these live service games dwindling, coming out and then getting shut down less than a year later, the gameplay needs to be good. And in a market where there's already a ton, I think this is a great idea. You don't want to put 12 games out that people feel like they need to play all the time.
Right.
Space them joints out,
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, this is a plan that was doomed to fail from the beginning, because a live service game means you're trying to take as much time and money from those players that you can. And we only have so many players, so much time, so much money. And they're not only competing with all the other games with live service elements like Call of Duty, Diablo 4, everybody else. They're competing with themselves. So what do they expect to happen? There's only so much time and money we can give them.
Yeah, and I think part of the problem that we're seeing with these live service games failing is that there are so many games coming out. That's my problem. I'll play a game, have a blast with it, but then something else comes out, and I'll, a month from now, I'll be like, oh shit, remember that game that we had fun with? Like, maybe we should go back to that sometime. But it's like always something else coming out that's new, that's fresh, that you want to try. And it's tough.
And you're going to have to work 40 hours a week at it if you want to have all the rewards for its little tiers and stuff.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like, look at the most successful game of the year, Baldur's Gate 3, because it doesn't have any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because you can just play it on your own time.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like, so many games want to be... We're seeing a huge resurgence in Fortnite now, with them going back to the OG Fortnite. And so many games really just want to be Fortnite. And there's already a Fortnite out there that people are investing. I remember when I first got into Fortnite, it was earlier this year, and I played it like the same way. I got to finish the Battle Pass. I have to play it every day, do the daily challenges, and do this. And that was all I played, because that was it, I'm doing the daily challenges. I'm doing the grind. I want to get these collectibles, and that was it. That's all I played for months. But, it's there. There's already games that are taking people's attention.
I guess you can't fault them for trying, because Fortnite is only the way that it is because PUBG had a lot of popularity. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, even after Fortnite, there are other successful ones like Warzone.
Yeah. No, there definitely are. But that's the thing. You got to cut it. You got to cut enough of a chunk out of the people playing those games to get them to all, you got to take a chunk from Warzone and Apex and Fortnite and, any of these multiplayer games to try to get to come to play your game. And it's got to be awesome. It's got to be innovative and it's got to be fun.
And at a certain point, I think you're going to have fatigue in any genre. And, we're probably going to come upon that for roguelikes, rogues games.
Yeah.
Your Elden Rings and stuff, because now there's like 50 Elden Ring clones.
Oh yeah.
After the success of that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It happens with every genre. You're absolutely right. So yeah, we'll see. Only time will tell, I guess. But I'm excited to see what they do put out, and if let's say the first 6 that they put out, like, our stinkers or our failures or aren't creating enough buzz, like, what do they do with those other 6 that are, they've invested so much time and money into? Yeah. Do they continue on this trajectory? Do they change it up? I don't know. It's going to be interesting, though. All right, there was another earnings call, which with a different tone. So Warner Brothers had an earnings call with CEO David Zaslav, and I question a lot of the decisions that he makes about everything concerning Warner Brothers, and I now question this one. So his idea is to, focus more on live service games and invest more time and money into them. So it's interesting when we hear about, I don't know. I don't know which way this is going to go.
It's hard to say because, specifically Warner Brothers, they mentioned Harry Potter. And we had Hogwarts Legacy come out earlier this year. And it was, even despite all of the controversy, it was still considered a big success. It was like huge in the UK, maybe their number 1 game for a long time running.
Yeah.
Something like that, if that would have been designed to be a live service game, it would probably be thriving right now still. So you can still have, if you've got a property behind it that people are willing to kind of sink their teeth into.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Because I was even going to say the other thing, or the opposite. I'd say that, like, they created Harry Potter, the game, and it was huge, and it sold all these sales, and, like, as a single player story game, it was very popular. But you might be right that, like, if they pivoted and made it a games of service, like, would it still be going? Like, we always have to talk about the Suicide Squad when that was revealed, just the menus, and people lost their shit because it looks like it's going to be another, games as a service style game instead of something like the Batman Arkham series or something like that, a single player game. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they do. Real quick, I'll read a quote from David Zaslav. He says, "Our focus is on transforming our biggest franchises from largely console and PC based with 3-4 year release schedules to include more always-on gameplay through live service, multi-platform, and free-to-play extensions, with the goal to have more players spending more time on more platforms. Ultimately, we want to drive engagement and monetization of longer cycles and at higher levels. We are currently under scale and see significant opportunity to generate greater post-purchase revenue." So, a lot of this points to, like, look at Mortal Kombat 1. Sold a ton of games, and now they're selling a lot of, they're selling the fatalities. Now you could buy a fatality for $10 and stuff like that, which is crazy, but people are buying them. So they're seeing that, they're tasting that sweet fatality money, and they're like, listen, we could do this with all our games. We got Game of Thrones, Batman, all this shit, and, like, let's turn everything into money. This is going to be interesting. So when Multiverses does come back, which is a WB property, what will that look like? I'm sure it's going to be heavily monetized. It was a free to play game, right? Or was it? Did you have to pay for it?
It was free to play, but you only could unlock, like, so many heroes, I guess you call them, or characters. Yeah. And then if you wanted to unlock them all, you were going to have to start probably dipping into your cash.
Right. Yeah. So it's interesting to see, like, who's leaning into the games as a service, live service games, who's kind of trying to back off from that. So I don't know if this is a good thing for gaming. Probably not. adding monetization into these games, but if it's a game that you want to keep playing for a whole year, it's a great thing, right? We just got to find that game.
Yeah. I mean, there's also sort of the golden age of gaming to me. We have a great campaign and a great multiplayer, and that was Call of Duty for the longest time, and why people are so pissed off right now that there's a 3-hour campaign and multiplayer has been taking a backseat to Warzone for years. We've got neither with that particular game.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had both, if you had your Suicide Squad as originally intended, single player, a great single player campaign, then you had an awesome multiplayer on top of it, nobody would complain. Everybody would want to play it.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll keep you posted on, all the new games coming out, which games live service, which games aren't, and if they're worth checking out. All right, let's talk about Nintendo and Sony. They're teaming up. We thought it would never happen, and it's happening. But they're teaming up to make a live-action Legend of Zelda film. So it's Nintendo and Sony Pictures teaming up, working with renowned video game designer Shigeru Miyamoto and Avi Arad of the Spider-Man trilogy. They're producing this movie with Wes Ball, the director of The Maze Runner, directing it. What are your thoughts on this? Are you excited for a Zelda movie?
I'm not the biggest Zelda fan in the world. I mean, I had a couple games that I spent a lot of time in back in the day on like N64, but I see a lot of hate, a lot of negativity about this because it's live action specifically. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, there's always hate on everything new in the video game industry. I think, like, you look at, first of all, let's look at the success of Super Mario Brothers, all the hate that game had, or movie had, and how successful it was at the box office and, critically and with the public. I think there's always going to be, you mess with someone's favorite property and there's going to be, it's even the casting. Like, I would hate to be an actor casting one of these because they're going to get death threats from crazy video game fans. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'm excited for it. Like, I'm not a huge Zelda fan, but I'm excited. Like, they could go so many ways. Do you go with the origin of, Link and Zelda? Do you do like a popular property like Breath of the Wild in movie form and expect and then right. The casting part of it, who do you cast? I'm thinking Vin Diesel as Link. And who should play Princess Zelda?
Melissa McCarthy. She's in everything else.
That's it. Cast it, baby.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I mean, it could go either way because we've been talking about this more with adaptations of anime into live action. Everybody shit completely on Cowboy Bebop, and I never knew why. Then they praise One Piece, but I think those two are on an equal playing field, so it's hard to tell what people are going to think about these things until they come out. But, I would rather sit here and have faith that Nintendo will put the money and the effort and everything they need into the talent, make sure that this looks good, sounds good, has good actors that are going to do this justice. I think that's what everybody wants to see.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Good story, good acting, and because I don't doubt the visuals and all that, everything's gonna look beautiful. I'm sure they'll put together a great film. But the only thing I can see that they take them out of the world that they're in and set it. Okay, we're gonna set this in New York City, and it's
right.
it's
you get one of those Halo adaptation ideas where people say, well, we didn't actually play the game. Well, it shows.
Yeah, we're gonna have The Rock and Vin Diesel pairing up. So we'll see. I mean, this is years away. They have no, it's not written. There's no plot yet, no release date, anything like that. So I'm sure we'll be able to bitch about this for many, many episodes going forward. All right, next up, Valve just announced a new Steam Deck model. So this is really exciting. This one's got a OLED screen, and it looks super cool, and I'm really jealous. But I'm fine with my LCD Steam Deck. Maybe somewhere down the line I'll pick it up. But this one, it's going to have, it's got the enhanced OLED display, better audio, better battery life, and a bunch of like smaller quality of life improvements. So the battery life thing is the one that I'm really jealous about. They're saying you get an estimated 30% to 50% improvement on battery life over the launch version. And that's where, I'm struggling with mine. I'll have, I'll be sitting there with it plugged in and it's like 1,000 degrees in my hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, so it's going to come out in two models, the 512 gigabyte for $549 and a 1 terabyte model for $649. And pre-order starts, I think like November 16th or something like that. So yeah, it's some more deets. 7.4 inch OLED screen. It's a slight increase from the 7-inch LCD. It's got the bigger battery, and then they're saying it's going to charge faster, and it has a better Wi-Fi, which is cool. It's supposed to be faster, downloads faster, and then it's cooler to touch. Like instead of, it's not going to burn. I've seen people like post things on the internet where they've fallen asleep with their Steam Deck and like they have like these giant like burns on their like body parts. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. Well, I've seen like some rubber grips that you can get for these. You ever use one of those?
No, I'm allergic
purist
to rubber grips. I'm a purist.
Yeah.
But so they are lowering the price of the previous models. They're discontinuing the 64 gigabyte and 512 gigabyte LCD models, and those are $349 for the 64 gigabyte and $399 for the 256 gig and $449 for the 512, which is an insane deal. That was previously $650. So that's a $200 price drop ski. So yeah, and they're coming out with this dope like limited edition one, where it's like got a translucent case. It looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah,
I'm kind of wondering like what's the secondhand market like, or I don't know if that's what it would be called for this. The accessory market, like, because for controllers and things like that, you could always go on eBay and you could find a new shell and then get it home and replace all your parts and put it in the new shell. Have translucent.
Yep, you can do that with these. There's a company, JSaw, whatever. They make shells for them, and people do them like, they got the purple, like the GameCube, like purple translucent joints and stuff like that.
Nice.
I don't have like you'd have no problem doing something like this, taking it apart and putting it back together. Myself, I don't have a lot of faith, so I'm just staying black. I even want to like put a new hard drive in mine. And I'm like real nervous. So that's coming up. I've been researching that. It's not that difficult, but I would like to pop a 1 terabyte in mine because I only have the 64 gigabyte hard drive. But
sure.
Yeah.
Shout out iFixit. You can find all your guides over there.
Yeah, that's a good call. So yeah, I was a little bit jealous when I saw this come out, and I even looked at like, it's like, I could sell mine and use, but like, dude, everybody's doing that. Like, you right now you could get a good price on an older version Steam Deck because the eBay is flooded with them. So,
oh man, and I'm kind of worried about those special edition ones where they're only available in the U.S. and Canada. I wonder if that's just like a scalper's dream.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's gonna be tough to come by, and it's only $30 more than the regular one. It's like, but it's only for the one model, so I get $679 for that. It's the 1 terabyte one. All right, moving on. Let's talk about a live service game that's doing it right. They've been going since 2017. Dead by Daylight is bringing in another monster, bad guy. Chucky is coming, which is interesting because, and they talked about it in their press release, talking about how, they've been trying to figure out how to make like a small person, because you got to carry the bodies and hang them up. So I'm very intrigued to see how Chucky's going to work out in this, what the animations and stuff are going to look like. But yeah, it's going to be very cool. It's the first killer to use a third-person camera, so that's a little bit of a change up too. But yeah, he's got some really cool powers and some great-looking skins and that sort of thing. Like Chucky, Chucky's a great character. He's funny, adorable, murderous. It's a good one to bring.
Checks all the boxes, all the green flags. So Dead by Daylight, there's always a lot of hype when new stuff comes out for it. Was it on that Golden Joystick still playing awards list?
That's a good question. If it was a nominee, I don't know.
I feel like it should be.
It should be, because definitely they're still putting stuff out for it. I know, I'm still playing it. A lot of people are still playing it. So yeah, it looks. I'll be playing it when Chucky does come out. Now, I haven't been buying any of the. I'll buy maybe like the new ones when they go on sale or whatever. But I don't play it enough where I'm like, I need Chucky or whatever. I always play the Survivor anyways. So I would like to, play as Nick Cage or Chucky, but I don't have the money for this. This is why we need to set up like a Patreon or something, but so people can, pay for me to buy Chucky. But yeah, they were saying that his playstyle is going to be more stealth based because he's smaller. So he's going to be able to hide where normally people wouldn't be able to hide, like behind tiny things. And, so I'm excited to see what this gameplay looks like. So we'll see. All right. That is all I have for this week. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Just a quick mention that the Game Awards nominees, they're going to have a live stream on Monday, so the day this goes up.
Yes, yeah. I'm excited for that. And then, we'll talk about those next week. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, let's get out of here. Thanks so much for checking out this episode of Gaming News Weekly. You can find us on YouTube at Pop Culture Playground. You can go check out Full Clip's channel. He's over at GameFAQs, GameFAX. You can also find us on Fruit Lab. It's a great website where you can earn cryptocurrency by watching gameplay, posting clips of gameplay. It's great. Check us out over there. E-Rock the Red and Full Clip over there. And then anywhere podcasts are found, you can find Gaming News Weekly. Just type in GNW to your favorite podcast provider, and you'll be listening to us talking sweet nothings in your ear. And then don't forget the socials. Instagram, TikTok. You find daily new content being plopped out over there on those fancy phone apps. What else? Anything?
That's got to be everything.
Booyah! All right. I'm off to play some Hard Space Shipbreaker. Ooh. Yeah, go sew me a cool hat that says Hard Space Shipbreaker on it.
Will do.
Yeah, and I could hold pans with.
I can really only do panhandles.
A dual use.
You'll have to be happy with that.
Well, with my head is kind of like a pan handle, but just
it's
bigger,
larger.
Yeah, just up the size. Nailed it. I knew you could figure it out. All right, we'll see you guys next week with more Gaming News Weekly.